Hey kids, it's that time. Welcome to another edition of Love to Hate. I'm Philip Fullman.
And I am Brandon Luna.
Brandon, you know, this is what, our fifth, sixth week in a row, but there was a time, seventh, that we missed almost an entire year.
Right.
We missed almost all of 2017, and there were a lot of things that happened in pop culture.
True.
During that time, and our listeners didn't get to hear our opinions.
Oh, God forbid.
On those things. So, what do you say as a service to them that we go back and review those things that have been picked apart already 1,000 times, but we give our take on them?
I love it.
All right.
Let's
I've got a
bile.
list.
Okay.
It's not in chronological order. Oddly, it's all superhero stuff.
Okay.
As always, we segue.
Right.
What do you want to start with, Last Jedi or Justice League?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Let's go Last Jedi. No, we'll save Last Jedi because that's not superhero stuff. We'll start with superhero stuff.
Okay. Justice League.
What a steaming pile of shit.
Absolutely. The only parts of that movie that were good were the Joss Whedon parts.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell that the ending was done by Joss because Henry Cavill had the screwed up CGI lip.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the only part of the movie I liked because they got Superman right.
Yeah. Well, the weird CGI lip interview at the beginning where Superman's
that was the
having
worst.
A good time.
He looked like Herman Munster.
Right.
It was like they got better with the CGI as the movie went along. And it's a shame because that was finally the character. This is the one fans were like, yeah, that's Superman. How come he wasn't in the other movies?
Right.
That's who this guy should be. There's humor, but there's strength.
You know who's more Superman than Superman in that movie? Aquaman.
How so?
Because he's got humor and levity to him, and he's got strength. You know, he's
a little bit of a dude, bro.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's closer to Superman than what we're used to, than what we've been getting.
True, than what we've been getting. True,
yeah.
True.
How about Batman in that, huh? How about Bruce Wayne?
That was Affleck in the movie, just sleepwalking. Is it my line?
Right. He did not look like he wanted to be there at all.
No, he sleepwalked through. Sleepwalked.
Sleptwalked.
He was sleepwalking through the movie.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Bad news. And the Flash, I can't take Ezra Miller as an actor. I don't like him.
That is not the Barry Allen character at all.
Nope.
Totally screwed the pooch on that one.
They tried to make him the Spider-Man character from the Marvel.
Yeah, and that's not who he's supposed to be.
Right.
At all. Zack Snyder sucks. We can agree on that.
We did that
already.
But
he ruined the movie, and there wasn't enough Joss in there to save it. And I know there's fans who are like, no, Snyder would have made a better movie. Where's the Snyder cut? And they didn't see his vision. Well, his vision sucks. So, yeah, and now they've maybe killed the franchise. The rumor is Cavill's not going to be Superman anymore. Then it's like, well, it's a negotiating ploy. I think if you could get somebody who understands a character like Whedon that could do that movie, and you use Cavill, I think you could have a really good movie.
Right.
But
we definitely deserve another Superman movie that's done the right way.
I agree.
With a little bit of levity, good story, good bad guy. Give us some drama. You can have some Lois Lane crap in there, sure, but not to the extent of Superman Returns.
Yeah.
And
that was
so I mean, but
I just rewatched that again on Fast Forward.
Why?
Fast Forward.
Okay.
Okay. Get through
There's a couple moments I liked in that movie.
There are. Him saving the plane.
Right.
Yeah, the scene with the son always gets me. I know it's stupid that he had a kid and all of that, but just where he gives the father's speech, that to me was very touching. Mm-hmm. But I think I saw it soon after I lost my dad, so that just kind of
him creeping on him in the windows and stuff. That was a little
yeah. And just again, the idea that Singer forgot to tell anybody, like by the way, it's a sequel to the second one, but I'm changing the kiss part.
Right.
That just that didn't work, but I'm going back too far. Cavill, good in that movie, the extent that you had him. I like the scene where he woke up angry. Didn't really fit the story. It was kind of it didn't work for me. But just as far as, by the way, let's just show you his power level.
Right.
The fact that he can watch the Flash and Wonder Woman can cut loose on him, and he just looks at her like, "What are you doing?"
Right. Yeah, that was awesome. That was probably the best scene in the movie for me as a fan of the whole genre.
Have you seen the Death of Superman cartoon?
I still haven't seen it. No, I still haven't seen it.
Not bad. I don't like Jerry O'Connell as the voice of Superman.
Okay.
I don't like the fact that they're using the New 52 suit or that dynamic. But overall, solid.
And still better than Justice League.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
God, yes.
Justice League had a lot of problems. I think the biggest problem was the same problem that DC's had throughout. They don't have good bad guys, and they have good bad guys in the comics, but the ones that they're picking for the movies, they don't develop them enough. They're just these cardboard cutout bad guys.
If you'd have put Darkseid in this movie, though, would it have saved it?
No, because you don't have Darkseid before. Marvel does it the right way.
But
because
I mean,
you
think
get
about
to
it.
see...
You could still have Darkseid, but with that shitty CGI and all of that, it still would have looked like a giant mess.
Steppenwolf was a mess. I mean, no one. You
and
can probably ask
that's
15
not even
people
Steppenwolf in the comic book
who the bad guy was, and they probably wouldn't even know because it was
some
so
guy with horns.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so.
Yeah, no, he was a
Ragnarok.
paper villain.
Was he Ragnarok? I don't.
Maybe. So, what did you think of Ragnarok?
I dug Ragnarok. Now I know you didn't like it because you didn't feel like it followed the feeling of the other two Thor movies.
Yeah, I like it's mythology. It's darker, and now it's kind of like, hey, it's zany as madcap. It's like Guardians,
right?
Towards the end, where it got darker, it's like, okay, I like that a little bit better. But yeah, way too much humor. Didn't care for that at all.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was it needed the levity after Dark World. I thought Dark World was a little derivative of the first movie, and it didn't do enough different for me. It just felt kind of, I don't know, there. I really wasn't a fan of either of the Thor movies. I thought the first one was okay.
I really liked the first one. More so just watching him try to adapt on Earth and figure stuff out.
I thought it was too terrestrial for me. That's what I didn't like about it. It was very terrestrial. It was just like, when he had the finale and the bad guys and the little small town, I'm like, this is like straight out of Superman 2. It just feels,
Didn't the finale happen on
well, whenever he's fighting the guy with the laser beams and all that stuff. It was like that big scene
destroyer.
there. Yeah, the destroyer. That just, I don't know. It just seemed cheaper than the other Marvel movies.
Maybe.
Like they didn't put as much effort into it to make it a thing, because he's just a side character that's not supposed to be a big deal. But then he wound up people liking him, and now he's a big deal. But it just took 2 movies for them to to get it right. But for you, it's wrong.
For me, it just didn't fit.
They definitely made the character.
I didn't hate it.
He's definitely lighter in Infinity War as well. He doesn't have that anger and darkness.
I don't know, but I think you kind of do, because the opening is incredibly dark.
It is.
And then you've got him.
But then you got him joking about beards. So.
Yeah, that was more of an aside. I kind of thought it wasn't like a whole shtick. More of an aside, which is like, okay, but it's not this whole zany.
Right.
Just like the line, it's like, I am Steve Rogers. It just.
Right.
It was like, okay, it's a one-off, it's a line, but then we go back to that. So. Avengers Infinity War.
Right.
What were your thoughts on that?
I liked it a lot. I liked it better than Age of Ultron for sure.
Yeah.
I thought it was a better movie overall. I still feel like even though they're spreading it out over 2 movies, it still felt a little thin. I didn't like what they did with the Guardians of the Galaxy characters in that. I didn't like the fact that they kind of put it all on Star-Lord's shoulders. And
he's
dumbed him down by 20% at least.
I not only dumb him down, I think they took him from being kind of a dick to just being an asshole.
Right.
Where it's like, hey, I used to be kind of smarmy. It's like, now you're just a jerk.
Right.
And the fact that, man, you're not smart enough to keep your feelings in check for just a minute to straighten all this out.
Right.
That was almost like a Deus Machina for me. Mm-hmm. Or Deus Ex Machina, where it was like, look at how convenient this is, so that we can keep the story going. That felt a little ham-handed to me.
Yeah,
or a little forced, I should say. I didn't like their part in there as much.
What do you feel? I mean, how do you feel about all the death? And do you think how much of that do you think is real, or we're not gonna? You think they're all going to come back? Like, you're not going to...
Probably.
Gamora's coming back even?
They got to... At some point, they'll do a Guardians 3 even without James Gunn. As much as, Batista's saying he's not going to do it and everybody's on his side. Whatever. Politics of that, or, the social media side of it, taking that out of the equation. At some point, there's going to be a Guardians 3.
Right.
You got to bring those characters back.
Well, Guardians 2 was also last year. We didn't talk about that. So what do you think
true.
about Guardians 2? How do you think... Okay, so for me, one of the things that Marvel does well is that they lead you in a direction. So Guardians beget Thor, begets, Infinity War. So I think they went a little too silly, like you said, with between Guardians 2 and Thor to bring it to that level of like holy shit at the Infinity War level. But they still, at least they're going a direction. They seem to be kind of
I thought Guardians 2 tried too hard.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of lightning in a bottle with the first one. Then it was kind of like, man, we're going to really try to pull on your heartstrings. Because before you kind of had that accidental, man, these people start caring for each other. And then it became like, oh, we're family. Like, all right.
Yeah.
And the Kurt Russell, whatever his character was, I just hated that part. It's completely different from the comic book, but it wasn't a good enough payoff for me. Like, oh, this is why Finn's mom got cancer.
Right.
His name's not Finn. That's Star Wars. What's his name? Star-Lord. Whatever his name is.
Right. No, but I mean, the first sequence of Guardians 2 was like the first sequence of Age of Ultron for me. There was too much CGI. Him, Groot walking around dancing and all the stuff going on in the background was a little too much for me. And I immediately I was like, I'm not going to like this, and I kind of went into it that way and really didn't like it the first time I saw it. But as I'm a purist and a guy that has to have every fucking thing, I don't know why I do that, but I went and bought the damn Blu-ray.
Sure. And
watched it again, and I actually enjoyed it better the second time. So I think it's worth a second watch.
I didn't
Still
like
not as good
Baby
as the first
Groot.
One. Yeah.
Cute at the end of Guardians.
Right.
But didn't work in this. I didn't like it in Guardians 2. The teen angst Groot in
Infinity War.
Yeah, it didn't work for me either.
Yeah.
Just like, whatever. But I'm looking forward to the second part of it. But yeah, I don't think all the deaths. I'm curious as how they do it. I think Ant-Man ties into that greatly. I've not seen Ant-Man and Wasp yet, but understanding some of what happens in the after credit scene.
Right.
It's like, oh, and then you see the stuff. Hey, look, here's a picture that was shot. Here's what they're filming. It's like, wait a minute. This has to involve time travel.
Right.
So I think they'll end up bringing them all
I
back.
Loved how they incorporated Doctor Strange into the Infinity War.
I thought that was great. I thought the dynamic
beautiful.
between he and Tony was great.
Two rival Sherlocks playing off each other.
Exactly.
Right.
That was pretty clever.
Yeah.
But they had a good dynamic. Spider-Man even in that, with the Iron Spider suit. It was like, okay, he even fits in this.
Right.
Overall, I liked it. I like how they worked in Wakanda and Winter Soldier.
Do you foresee us getting another Howard the Duck movie? You think that's going to happen?
I think that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah?
Yeah, not for a while.
Pop up in another Guardians or something somewhere.
He could. He totally could. Yeah, no, I think they made good changes from the story where it made more sense on film than it did in the comic book.
Right.
And they still remain faithful. The scene where Hulk or Banner crashes through Doctor Strange's sanctum.
Right.
But now it's Hulk instead of Silver Surfer because Disney hadn't bought Fox yet.
Right.
They bought it now, then they could use Silver Surfer.
Right.
But
we haven't done anything with Silver Surfer, so we haven't.
Yeah, overall, I liked it.
Yeah.
So it took place in Wakanda. What'd you think of Black Panther?
I liked Black Panther. I thought it was well done.
I did too.
I felt like going into it that it might be a little more like Luke Cage, which I think Luke Cage has a very 70s blaxploitation kind of feel to it.
It does, down to the music.
Right. And I'm kind of glad they didn't go that route because I think they're trying to keep in line with the rest of the Marvel Universe, which makes sense. Great story. I loved it. I thought special effects were very good. I didn't really see the point of the one white guy that was in there.
Martin Freeman.
Yeah, Martin Freeman's character was kind of, I don't know.
It didn't serve a purpose.
Yeah, not really. So I don't know what that was.
They could have had him in the beginning of it, and that would have been
it, right? Yeah. And at the same time, I thought the guy from King Kong and does the Gollum and everything.
Oh, Andy Serkis.
Yeah, Andy Serkis was great, and he wasn't like 5 minutes of the movie. I'm like, damn it, he was a cool character. They could have done more with him. I thought, but
no, he worked out well in there, and overall it was a great story. Set up well. I very much liked it.
Yeah, everybody talked about, I want to go to Wakanda. It felt like a place. It
did.
Marvel has a way of doing that, though. Even though it is one big giant CG thing, it felt like lived in. It felt like it could be someplace. Like that's actually a thing.
Yeah, they do. Marvel does a good job with setting up their environment.
Right.
Something, again, DC has failed at. You mentioned Luke Cage. What do you think of some of the new Netflix shows? Because they have a much different vibe.
They do, yeah.
So the things we haven't seen, second season of Jessica Jones, Punisher, Iron Fist.
Right.
Pick any of those.
I wasn't a real big fan of Iron Fist. I didn't make it through it. I wasn't a real big fan of Jessica Jones. I didn't make it through that either.
The first one or the second one?
The first and the second.
Okay.
So I didn't finish the first and started the second and was like, and kind of stopped.
Okay.
I just don't like her. I'm not a big fan.
I'm not the actress. Yeah. No, I'm not either.
Not a big fan of her, and I don't get that whole thing. So I don't know. It's not for me. I liked Luke Cage. I've liked every season of that so far. I think it's well done.
I like the second season as well. I did like the second season of Jessica Jones in spite of her.
I don't even know what it's about. Like, who's the bad guy? I have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
Who is the bad guy in this season?
I mean, does it lead to something else, or is it just its own
really.
kind of
It
thing?
leads to one of the other characters becoming Hellcat or something.
Okay. I'll get to it. I mean, I know I'm going to watch it eventually. I just
see, now that tells you how good it was when I can't even tell you who the villain was.
Right.
I just know I liked her better, but it was more personal trauma stuff. It was, her mom. She finds her mom, and her mom has powers as well, but she's gone batshit crazy.
Okay.
Uses them for bad purposes. But overall, it was better. Iron Fist was not great, but I watched the whole thing. It was just much different. I was like, there's going to be a lot of story to this.
Right.
A lot of story. The first one. I haven't watched the second one yet. It's in my queue.
It just dropped. Yeah, it just dropped.
But it didn't bother me. It wasn't like, oh my God, I got to watch the next episode now. I'm staying up late. It's kind of like, okay. And part of that could be, I don't know shit about Iron Fist.
Right.
I will say the best portrayal of Iron Fist, I think they did better in Defenders, something else we haven't talked about.
Right.
The best portrayal of Iron Fist was in the second season of Luke Cage.
That was awesome.
It was like, oh my God.
They
it's
finally
like,
got it, yeah.
That's kind of a cool character. Because I went back and read after and was like, okay, this seems more in line with who the character is supposed to be.
I liked him in that. Didn't like him in Defenders. Liked him in the second season.
He was better in Defenders. Yeah. What did you think of Defenders?
It was good. It was good, but it wasn't.
I liked it.
I would like to see another season of that.
I would too. I liked it. I thought it did a good job bringing the characters together. I liked the dynamic when the four of them were together.
Right, yeah. I did too. The hallway fight was great.
It really was.
Yeah.
And people said that was one of the worst shows they did. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. But again, all of those, I'll take any of those shows over anything DC's doing in the cinema.
So
realm.
Here's the one where I disagree with the majority of people, or where my opinion's the outlier. What'd you think of Punisher?
I loved the Punisher.
Hated it.
I know you hated it.
Hated it.
I loved it, but I make fun of it because John's portrayal, John Barenthal or whatever his name is, he's so grunty in that. Like, I'm surprised no one's cut together a clip on YouTube yet.
Just him
where they
grunting.
just string up all his grunts because he's just like every line he's like, so are you gonna go get him? Yeah, I'll get him. It's just like everything's like
yeah.
It's just a bunch of them, and it's just like his thing that he does. But what did you hate about it? I'm curious.
And part of it could stem from the fact that they changed his backstory. Very revenge driven. You killed my family. It was the mob. I take out the mob. I go after bad people so they don't hurt good people.
Right.
This was so fucking convoluted. I didn't really get it. And then it's like, man, he's got PTSD. He's unhinged. Just like a psychopath. Mm-hmm. And just, it's like, no, he's not even an anti-hero. He's just like some nut. And then the violence was just so over the top.
Yeah.
Where it was just, okay, I like violence, and I think it's deserved in these situations where, like, okay, I'm going after the bad guys. Fuck up the bad guy. I don't care. But it was so just like, oh my God, this is just absolutely brutal. And then the next to last episode where he's remembering his ex, it's like, oh, for God's sake. And they're doing the flashbacks between him talking to her, like, oh, this sucks.
You just hated it that much. Wow.
Yeah, it didn't work. He wasn't like I said, he was portrayed as unhinged with PTSD and just directionless.
Right.
And to me, the Punisher always kind of at least had a, hey, this is what I do.
Well, maybe we'll see that in the second season. You never know.
Maybe.
You know.
But like I said, the fact that his backstory had changed so much.
Yeah. So who's your Punisher? Dolph Lundgren? Is that your Punisher?
Absolutely. Lou Gossett Jr.
Lou Gossett.
No, I think as far as
what we've seen so far.
I'll tell you. Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane, yeah.
Thomas Jane, Dirty Laundry, fan film on YouTube.
Yes.
10 minutes, best Punisher yet.
Yeah,
that was like, cool. How do you not get that? I mean, violent? Yes. Over the top? No. But you got the essence of the character.
Yeah.
That to me was, okay, why can't you do that?
I like the director's cut version of that film on DVD.
Of the
Punisher, the one he did, is actually a better cut. They explain more of the backstory about his friend betraying him and stuff, and there's a little more violence to it, but it's not over the top still. But I think again, it's a director's cut. I want to say that one's actually maybe only like 4 or 5 minutes longer, so it's not stupid long. Like whenever you see a Zack Snyder director's cut, it's like 30 minutes longer than the freaking movie. Like those need to be editor's cuts instead of director's cuts.
Exactly.
Give me an hour and a half version of 300, not 3 hours long. I don't need the Watchmen Ultimate Edition that's 4 hours long. Nobody needs to see that. That's not a thing.
There's a reason we cut this shit.
Right, yeah, exactly. So I really do enjoy the director's cut. If you haven't seen it, I'll let you borrow it. It's worth a watch.
Okay, yeah, I'd like that.
And Punisher Warzone I thought was ridiculous.
I liked him as the character. Again, the violence was kind of, it was too cartoony.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, you punch through a guy's head into a wall. It's like, okay, you're not a superhero. You don't have super strength.
Golden Globus stuff right there. That was
that took
only
me
Chuck Norris could
right
do that.
out. Now that same actor, Ray Stevenson,
yeah,
Jack Reacher.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, all day long.
All day long. He could be Jack Reacher. Mm-hmm. He's big enough, and it's like, yeah, I believe that man can kick my ass. And I look at Tom Cruise, and I'm like, what are you going to do? Are you going to try to convert me to Scientology?
Right. I mean, does that guy? He's huge in the Thor movies. Is he really that big, or is that a suit?
That's a suit.
Okay,
that's a suit. He's not a small man, but yeah, that's a suit.
Okay,
he was on Rome, that HBO show.
He was on
too.
Rome. Yeah, I loved Rome.
But yeah, he was on that.
It was a good show,
and I never watched it. I'm not a sword and sandals guy.
Okay. No Spartacus for you.
No, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
What else? Remake of not remake, the Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Loved it. I've
yet to see the last season.
I love it. Yeah, that was my favorite. And it actually, I know they were supposed to get another season, and I would love to have seen the next season.
Yeah.
But the way they ended it is perfect. I mean, if you watch it all, it
Don't
ends
tell
and
me,
you're
because
like,
I do.
That's awesome.
I do want to see how this. Yeah. I want to believe it ends with Ash happy. Yeah, it's not. That's not going to happen. You know what? I went back and
he goes. Actually, he is happy. He goes to Miami. He ends up working for a detective agency and wears a lot of nice, Hawaiian shirts.
Nice.
Yeah, so kind of a leads in the burn notice.
He's
nice.
Sweet. Changes his name to Sam.
Right.
No, I did like that. Shit, I had a point and then I blinked.
Yeah. It was the most. I loved it. I thought it was very Raimi-esque, even though Raimi had very little to do with it. I've actually got the first season on Blu-ray, so I dig it.
Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Have you seen that?
Oh, love it.
I bought that. I had rented it before, bought it, and in his last book, he talks about the disappointment of like, well, we didn't get renewed. That, again, to me is, man, look at how the writing's progressed, how much better the story's gotten, and then you drop it. Mm-hmm. It was like, that was a great show.
Right.
I enjoyed him in that. And a little nudge, little wink to the comedy, but not stupid.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't played as a fool.
Right.
So no, that I did enjoy.
He should have been in the Wild Wild West movie, not freaking
Will Smith
and Kevin Kline.
Yeah.
Such a bad movie. Yeah. Such a great TV show.
Anything you take from a TV show to a movie, there's always a drop. Mm-hmm. Dukes of Hazzard. The only franchise that's been successful is Mission Impossible.
Right.
And I won't watch it.
And it's still completely different than the series.
But
right?
I refuse to watch it.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. we both liked, but didn't do anything. Yeah.
No. That and if Cavill's not Superman, he could be Bond.
Yeah, totally. He could totally be Bond.
Yeah, he could totally pull that off.
Yep. a lot of people were saying they can't see him as Bond now because of how bad he was in the last Mission Impossible. It's like such a bad guy, just an abhorrent character.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that it's hard to take him as a good guy.
I've never seen him as a bad guy. So
yeah, he's good in it. He's really good. Yeah,
he can rock a stash.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
not a digital one, but a digital fake.
Yeah,
lip,
there was
whatever.
something I read on that, and actually, whatever company owns Mission Impossible was like, yeah, you guys can shave it, but we want like $30K. Because that's what's going to cost us digitally to give him or Mustang. Again,
that looks
I
real.
don't know.
Right.
They said to put a fake stash on him for the action sequences, nothing would have kept it on. So Warner Brothers was like, no, we're not going to give you the money. We'll just edit it off.
Wow. What a bad
Warner Brothers
decision.
makes a lot of bad decisions.
They do. Yeah, sad that the Ash versus Evil Dead didn't get renewed. And, but at the same time, now he's doing the tour circuit again, so he's going to be
That's true. He's going to be here for Texas Frightmare, which
Yep.
I will be happy to go with you, even though you haven't asked me. Yes, I'm going. I will go with you.
Maybe, we'll see.
Please. I'm surprised at the names who are showing up to these things.
I know, right?
Peter Capaldi is at one in Houston next weekend. Astronomical. You're usually like, hey, $60 for this autograph. I think his is like $155.
Wow.
But Capaldi's an actor. It's like he was more than Doctor Who.
Right. The Doctor.
Yeah.
Get it right.
I don't think Cumberbatch is at one. But there's some people where it's like, holy crap, that's some serious acting talent.
The last one they had in town here, the big one, the fan days
yeah,
thing, that was huge.
Jason
Momoa.
Yeah, he was there. And some guy from Affleck.
Yeah.
He was there. Not to make fun of that.
It's okay. It's Affleck.
Alcoholism is serious.
It is.
It is. But I like making fun of Affleck.
The worst Daredevil ever.
Yeah. There's some great memes about that. About,
I'm sure.
Him playing Batman and, the worst Daredevil ever playing Batman. He's not a great actor.
No, he's really not. I mean, he does good in certain roles. I thought he was good in Gone Girl. I thought he was good in...
Chasing Amy.
Yeah. That's about it, really.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not that great.
Yeah, but Matt Damon's a better actor, which you would have thought.
Matt Damon!
Right.
Yeah. I just rewatched that. That was...
Oh, it's greatness.
It is. It really is.
I love
those guys. Those guys are my age.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel bad.
Right. Because they've achieved so much. Right.
Tyler Perry's 49.
Is he?
And it's like, I'm 49. I'm not that successful.
Have you watched Basketball again at all?
No, I do love the scene. The one scene that always sticks out is you kids with your video games, your Dan Fogelberg music. The Ernest Borgnine scene is what gets me. I just saw him in an episode because I'm still binge watching Magnum. He was in an episode of that. Interesting thing, my takeaway from Magnum that I didn't notice before, positive portrayal of cigar smokers.
Yes.
Because the good guys will light the cigar in victory or just to screw with Higgins. So that's kind of cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
So in our time remaining, because I know you've got this teed up, you've got the clubs out, the ball is on the tee. What'd you think of Last Jedi, Brandon?
Oh, man. So I will say I'm not a fan of either of the episodes. I guess what are we talking about? 7 and 8? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I liked Rogue One. I liked Solo, even though it died at the box office. I thought it was fun.
I have not seen Solo.
Yeah, you gotta see it. Last Jedi just really rubbed me the wrong way. It seemed like they started something with The Force Awakens and then just kind of threw everything away and said, "We're going to talk this story now. We're going to do this."
I agree.
The offshoot stuff that was going on with what's that guy's name? The character that went
Poe.
off with the girl. Yeah, Poe.
Oh, are you
not
talking
Poe.
about Finn?
Finn, yeah. Finn's side story with the whole planet thing. And
that to me was the worst part of the movie.
What the hell? It was like 45 minutes that didn't need to be in.
No,
that movie.
it was like they're indoor. It's like, hey, look, CGI animals. Don't you feel sorry for them?
Right. And the takeaway from that was like, had there been what I expected, because I think with these movies now there's a lot of fan service in them, and you come to expect things. And when we talked about the guy who was the gambler that had the code to whatever that whole subplot was, I fully expected to see Lando Calrissian there,
right?
And we got freaking
Benicio del Toro.
No, it wasn't him. It was Mr. Aniston. Jennifer Aniston's husband was the guy.
Oh,
who
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Jason Theroux, I think is his name. Justin Theroux was the guy that was the gambler guy. And I'm like, what? Like, you could have had Lando in there. Like, what the hell? So
apparently he's in the new one.
Yeah, apparently. But
and that was my objection to it. It was just,
I thought Snoke went out way too easy.
Who did?
Snoke went out way too easy.
Yeah, that I didn't like. The whole dynamic between Rey and Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
The whole shirtless scene was like, well, it's designed so you understand that she can see him. Like, I don't get that she can see him.
Right.
Well, she did say put your shirt on.
Right.
But again, it was still stupid.
Yeah.
He did go out too easy. A lot of people saying that the complaints were, well, it's because A, you don't like Asians, or B, you don't like women. I have no objection to that. It's not the fact that the character Finn's running around with is an Asian woman. It's the fact that this is not a character that's necessary to the film.
Right.
This storyline that you've got Finn chasing is completely unnecessary to the film.
Right.
Laura Dern, completely unnecessary to the film. Not because she's a woman. It's not. It doesn't fit the story.
Right.
You could have taken her and used Leia.
Right.
Carrie Fisher was still alive. You could have used her, but no, we put her in a coma because she did the Mary Poppins thing and almost dies. You could have had Leia show the Force in a different way without, putting her in intensive care and checking her out for the rest of the movie.
Right.
You didn't have to do that. Probably to me, the biggest plot hole is Poe is your best pilot.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost your number 2. But you decide not to tell him the plan.
Right.
You're just going to not tell him because what? He's going to leak it?
Right.
And you work this plan behind his back. Like, that doesn't make sense.
The slow chase really annoyed me too.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
like how is that a plot point? Let's just make it so that we'll catch up to him eventually. Like, no, you can't just hyper jump like a couple of steps and you got him. I mean, there's so many.
Why
things
was it they couldn't fire on him again?
I don't remember. It was stupid. Whatever the reason was, it was just ridiculous.
And we haven't even talked about Luke.
Right.
Which, oh yeah. What's funny is all the press, Mark Hamill would release a statement, then come back and go, but I'm an actor, so my job is to interpret the character as it's written.
Right.
But you could tell he's like, this isn't the character I created.
No.
This is not Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell these people are doing. You could tell he was not happy with it.
Right.
They turned him into I don't know what. They tried to make him kind of Yoda-esque.
Mm.
In some points, like, hey, look, I'm kind of crazy, but I'm teaching you something underneath.
Right.
He had commented that there was a scene where he finds out that Han has died, and you see him coping with that and just him acknowledging it and his grief and the sadness of losing a friend. And he's like, but we didn't have time for that and cut it, but there was time to watch me drinking milk out of a monster's teat.
Right.
And again, why would you cut the emotional scene just for the stupid scene?
Right. The blue milk explanation, right?
Yeah. I didn't get. It's like I would much rather see him mourn Han's death.
Yeah, was never brought up at all.
No.
Just not there.
And trying to make him into Yoda, that didn't work. The whole, watch me toss the lightsaber. It was almost a metaphorical, I'm tossing the whole fucking movie. I don't care what they did in the previous movie. I'm junking it.
Right.
The fact that he's going to kill Kylo, his nephew, because he senses evil. But yet, this is a guy who said, Father, I still sense the good in you. I won't kill you.
Right, but he's going to kill his
You're
nephew.
You're the worst motherfucker on the planet,
right,
or in the universe, whatever. Killed millions of people. But I sense there's some good, so I'm not going to kill you. But with Kylo, it's like, well, you haven't done anything wrong yet, but you could, so I better kill you now.
Right.
That's completely out of character. It doesn't even work. And it just, that fell apart. I hated the line at the end where he says, see you around, kid. And then I realized, oh, that's what Han said to Luke. He said, see you around, kid. I'm like, all right. I'll give him half credit on that one. But the scene where the girl's going to sacrifice herself, and then Finn does that. It's like, here we go. Mandatory heartstrings.
Right.
Yeah. Tearjerker time. Like, no. Very forced.
Yeah. Very Forced Awakens.
Yeah. No pun intended. Right. Now, I agree. Force Awakens, upon multiple viewings, it is an update on Star Wars. I agree.
Right.
Still liked it, though.
Yeah.
I still did.
It's more fun than Last Jedi, and I think that's part of why I didn't like The Last Jedi as much. But, again, there's just way too much plot points there, way too many plot points there that didn't work for me, story-wise, and I feel like they rushed it, or something happened.
It just didn't work on multiple levels. And so now, do you think Abrams is going to be able to go back and make a course correction?
I hope so.
Oh yeah, by the way, he just said these were that you had no special parents because he didn't know any better.
Right.
But the truth is, and make it one of those, no, Vader killed your father, no, Vader is your father things.
Right. I think that's coming. I mean, I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I hate to think that Kylo's going to turn, because that just is so obvious. I know it's going to happen.
I don't want that.
I don't want it either.
I want Chewie to rip his fucking arms off. You killed Han.
Right.
I want Chewie to get some action. I
Yeah.
want him to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And again, this is me, which is odd, seeing as how I just went on this thing about the Punisher.
Right.
But what's wrong with killing the bad guy? Why does the bad guy always have to have a redeeming quality? Can't a bad guy be a bad guy anymore? Or do we always have to sit there and go, well, he's a damaged person?
Right.
Well, I get that, but he's still got to die. Mm-hmm. Maybe at the end of it, it's like people sit there on death row and they're like, wow, I really shouldn't have done that. It's like, well, you've recognized that. Mm-hmm. And now you've still got to pay your debt, so strap in.
Right. Yeah.
I get that. Forgiveness does not exonerate you.
Right.
Or, an acknowledgement of your crimes does not exonerate you. So I really hope they don't do the redemption tale, but it's Disney.
Right.
So,
well, they don't do the redemption tale on Marvel, though. I mean, they get away with it there.
Yeah, but even Thanos was kind of like, well, these people are starving, so if we kill half of them.
Right.
Kind of like, okay. Because that wasn't the case in the comic. He was trying to impress a chick.
Right.
Which... not as thin a plot point as you would think.
Right. For back then, with comics.
Sure. Just guys in general, just, stupid things they'll do.
True. Yeah.
But, I mean, I hope the next one's better. I don't know when Solo comes out, but I'm definitely going to rent it.
Yeah.
AntMan Wasp, did you like that?
I did, yeah.
I liked it more than I thought I would. I'm not a Paul Rudd fan, but enjoyed it. I haven't seen AntMan and Wasp yet. I've heard it's not as good.
It's still fun. It's fun, but it's not. It doesn't. There's not as much thought in it, I think, as there was in Ant-Man. Okay. And there's a lot of sequelitis moments, which I don't like. Let's bring back characters that really don't need to be in here again and put them in the second one because people liked them in the first one.
The Michael Pena.
Yeah, exactly. That whole side of things didn't really need to be there for the second time, but we got it again. So okay.
Yeah, they shoehorn in a lot of stuff for the like you said, fan service.
Right. Totally. But yeah, Last Jedi didn't do it for me. Watched it several times and still doesn't do it for me. It still pisses me off when I watch it.
I haven't rewatched it.
Yeah.
I had I bought tickets to the morning showing and the evening showing on Friday.
Okay.
Had my reserved seats because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to see this a second time. Hell yeah. And I walked out of the first one like, all right, well, it was a Star Wars movie. Had those characters, so saw that. And then go get breakfast now or something.
Did you get your money back?
No. Did I give you the tickets?
Yeah, I think you did, actually.
Yeah, you went that night. So I gave you the tickets.
Right,
here you go,
so
sucker.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, asshole.
Yeah, you're welcome. Right. Anytime I have something, tickets to something shitty.
You'll get them.
I've got some Doobie Brothers tickets if you're interested. Go to Michael McDonald.
Excellent. I'll take them.
Yeah, I was going to do Michael McDonald, but I don't remember how you did it. So I was,
that's all you got to do.
I was just going to mimic you. It's not even my Michael McDonald impersonation.
Right.
What
so
else was it?
Solo, I know you haven't seen it yet, but Solo and Rogue One to a degree. Rogue One was pretty dark, but it was still fun, and Solo was very fun. So Solo has a lot more. And it is a Ron Howard movie, so it kind of feels that Ron Howard back in the old Willow days when he was doing happy feel good stuff. It feels like that. It still doesn't feel like a Ron Howard movie, though. And oddly enough, like when you watch it and you realize he directed it, you're like, I think he directed part of that, maybe.
Right. Right.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a Star Wars story. It doesn't move the story along at all, but it does set some stuff up. And
does it make sense that he then evolves into the character you meet in Tatooine in the bar?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely leads to that for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
So you can see.
And I liked the guy's portrayal of the character. I thought he was good in the role, and Chewbacca, him and Chewbacca, were great. And
is Chewie bad in anything?
No,
he's really the Rock of the Star Wars universe. You're like, it's Chewie. I love him. I love that guy.
Yeah, he should get an Oscar.
Yeah, well, and that's not. I don't think that this is the first movie that Peter Mayhew was not in.
Right.
Because even in I think Last Jedi, he's credited. Right. Because I think they used him for close-ups
and stuff, right?
Which good for them. I mean, the guy, he was great in that role, and now he can't do it. So it's like, we'll use him for close-ups. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think.
Then we find another tall guy who can just run around in this giant bear suit.
Mm-hmm.
God, what else? Was there anything else that came out that we thought sucked, or that we loved?
Nah, I can't think of anything that really loved.
No,
2017 was kind of a hard year.
Yeah, you and I, we couldn't get our schedules to jive, and there was just a lot going on.
Yeah, I blame you completely, but yeah.
Okay, well that's fair.
No, not at all. No, I mean, it's
it's just.
I'm just saying, media-wise, 2017 was okay. I mean, there wasn't really. I can't name a 2017 movie that I'm going to go back and watch over and over again. And I think it's been that way for a couple of years.
Do you think 2018's off to a better start?
Not really. Okay. I mean, I've looked 3 weeks. So we have 4 passes to Cinemark, and we've looked 3 weeks in a row, and there's really nothing I want to see. Nothing. And it's a slow time right now. We're getting,
I still have stuff on my queue from last year that I haven't watched. The Shape of Water.
Right.
I know I've got to be in the right mood.
Right.
It's like, man, I got to be ready to cry. Because I look at this movie, it's like, oh, I'm going to lose it. This is going to be a sad movie. 3 Billboards.
Yeah, 3 Billboards is great. Yeah,
I want to see that. But again, I know I got to be in the right frame of mind. So really, I've been doing a lot of binge watching. I'm not proud of that fact, but
a lot of TV stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you find you're more on the Netflix side or more on the Amazon side at this point?
Right now, Amazon.
Yeah.
Because of the old TV shows.
Okay.
Netflix, man, the last things I've watched on there are comedies. I watched the Marc Maron special, Ryan Hamilton, which, again, it's one of those the whole family could watch this guy, goofy looking dude. Ryan Hamilton, happy face. Watch it.
Okay.
The guy's funny.
Yeah.
He does this thing about falling off your bike and having the wind knocked out of you as a kid.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, it's a great bit. Man, what else did I watch on there? That's probably about it. Even my Hulu. I'll tell you what, my Hulu usage has gone down because they changed the fucking app.
Oh yeah,
and the interface sucks. You can't pull up the picture; it's words, and you got to scroll. And it's like, here's your list, and it just tells you what it is.
That's where'd they do that?
I don't know, but the interface sucks. So yeah, probably more on Amazon. Amazon has a lot of riff track stuff on there for free.
Okay.
Miami Connection, not the live version. If you see,
oh
my
God, told
me
about it. No, I haven't seen it.
It is totally. Oh, that and Radical Jack.
Yeah,
it's Billy Ray Cyrus as an action hero.
Oh God.
Oh, God. It is so good. There's a scene where he goes to a payphone. When he picks it up, the voiceover is, "Hey, can I speak to Miley?"
Wow.
And then the other line was, "The only thing worse than being a one-hit wonder, that one hit is achy breaky heart."
Wow, he actually has those lines in the movie.
No.
Oh, but
this
the
is what the
guys.
yeah,
right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
because they don't use the robots in this one.
Oh, okay.
But those two definitely worth watching. So I've watched a lot of that. Birdemic. I think we talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Bad.
So there's a lot of that. Hulu, when This Is Us comes back on, I will watch. When 911 comes back on, I don't know why the hell I watch 911. I like the dude because he was on Sports Night, I guess. And
right.
That redheaded gal is in it. But, it's all right.
Yeah.
I'm not proud that I watch it.
I noticed that it's very cyclical. Like there'll be good stuff on Amazon and not really great stuff on Netflix. And then there's great stuff on Netflix and not good stuff on Amazon. It's like they're fighting for content.
It's been how many weeks ago that he died now? But Amazon put out Smokey and the Bandit.
I saw, yeah.
in honor of Burt Reynolds. I wish they put Hooper on there too. Maybe they have. But because I went to find my Burt Reynolds Smokey and the Bandit Hooper DVD, and I can't find it.
Aw.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I miss that.
I've been wanting to see Sharky's Machine again. That was a good one.
I wonder if tons of stuff on Amazon in Prime that you'd be like, holy crap, that's free.
Cannonball Run. Good stuff. Love
The
Cannonball Run.
movies
You don't like Cannonball Run?
No.
What's wrong with you?
No, little too slapsticky.
Oh, it's great.
But what I find funny is he turned down, what was it, Terms of Endearment
Oh, wow.
to do Cannonball Run.
Wow. That's probably a better choice for him because he's not really so much on the dramatic.
He could have.
Well, later in life, yeah. I mean,
have you seen Deliverance though?
Yeah.
What about in Starting Over?
Have
you seen Starting Over?
No, I've never seen it because I was a kid when it came out. And it was not my thing.
He can act in that. It's a good comedy. Candice Bergen and Jill Eichenberg, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He just gotten divorced. Goes through the whole him furnishing the apartment thing. Charles Durning's in it because it's a Burt Reynolds movie.
Right.
But no, it's a good movie.
Ooh, is Evening Shade on?
I don't know.
I want to look. That was a great. I loved Evening Shade.
He was good in that.
Yeah, he was. And that was free stretched out too far.
Yeah, and he made the comment. He said, in my career, I've taken the movies I would have fun doing as opposed to the movies that would have been good for my career, the solid movies. But I fully believe the man could act, and I think that's Stallone's thing too.
Right.
But instead of the fun movie, it's like I went for the paycheck movie as opposed to the one where I could act.
Right. And Stallone, we've seen him act in a couple things. We talked about it before.
Copland, Rocky.
Yeah. And Burt
Creed.
Reynolds. Did Burt Reynolds get an Oscar for what do you call it?
Delivery.
Boogie Nights?
He nominated.
Nominated. So I don't think he ever got an Oscar, did he?
No. And I think he was nominated for Deliverance, as was the rest of the cast. And he said he feels that he hurt them because he did that Cosmopolitan Centerfold. And he said he feels like it hurt them because it kind of was like, these guys are clowns.
Right.
And he said, I regret that I did that to my castmates. So
yeah, interesting.
I
he will be missed. I like.
He will.
We had this discussion. I had this discussion with my daughter about our heroes and how you tend to forget about them until they die. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of them where, when Prince died, my wife and I were like, oh my God, Prince died. My daughter's like, you don't listen to Prince. I'm like, listen to Prince all my life, but I'm not going to let a 10-year-old listen to Prince, So,
right? Yeah.
But at the same time, after let's
Dad,
say
what's his mean?
Graffiti Bridge, you kind of lose sight of what he's doing and you stop listening. But it doesn't mean you're not a fan. But then when you die, you're
right.
like, oh,
Well,
crap.
I think sometimes too, it's are you a fan of? You like the artist doing that thing, but it's like, oh, they've evolved. And it's kind of like not my thing.
Right.
So I but that doesn't mean they don't hold a place in your I don't want to say heart, but I mean it was a part of your childhood,
Right.
Hey, you grow up, it's like, oh yeah, man, I'm listening to Doves Cry.
Right.
I was high school. That was a memory.
The way I put it to my daughter was like 20 years from now when Bruce Willis dies, you're going to be going, oh man, Bruce Willis died. And your kids are going to be going, who's that? You'd be like, oh man, Die Hard. I'm like, well, I got to show you these movies now, because that's going to happen.
Right.
Because he's already in that segment of his life where it's straight to video. He gets very few theatrical release movies now. Yeah. He's there, So
it's the movie where it's like, we're going to put you on the cover. You're in the movie for 5 minutes. We're going to pay you a ton of cash.
Right.
It's a shit movie, but you're in it for 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then that's it.
So 20 years from now when he passes, it's going to be that type of scenario.
Nobody's going to remember those shitty films. They're going to remember, oh, he's the guy who was in Die Hard. He was the guy in Hudson Hawk. No. He was the guy in Moonlighting.
Right.
That's the things he'll be remembered for.
Exactly.
Unbreakable.
Yep.
Last Boy Scout?
Yeah, I love Last Boy Scout. That's great.
I like that.
Yeah. That's fun.
Shane
Black's
movie.
great. I'm looking forward to The Predator, even though I've heard bad things about it.
The review I read on it was not.
I'm still
going
to go see it. That's one that I will go see.
After Iron Man 3, I'm kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah. Better. He's done some things I like, though.
Yeah, I mean, Kiss Bang Bang.
Kiss Bang Bang's great. The Nice Guys I thought was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So he has the ability to make good stuff.
He does.
I think when he does these genre pieces, he suffers because he's having to do something he's not necessarily really wanting to do.
Fair that he's kind of
forced into it.
Yeah, you're going to have to follow these set guidelines of this is the genre, you can't stray.
Right.
And that was one of the things they said the movie was a little too jokey. So it's like, yeah, maybe it's the one-liners that, And they said, whereas the first one was straight up horror,
right?
This one's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
No, I know. I'm hoping it'll be what I want from it.
So a year from now, we can sit and talk about whether or not you liked the new Predator movie in 2018 as we review the stuff that came out.
We can totally do that.
All right. Well, kids, it's still 2018, so in order to end the show before 2019, we'll wrap it up by Brandon telling you where to find us on the social media that you guys use.
Well, if you're on the Twitter sphere, you can check us out at Love to Hate Pod. And if you are on the Facebook, you can check us out at Love to Hate Podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Send us messages there. We've already had one suggestion for a show, so if you have any other suggestions, feel free to hit us up for them.
Yeah, please let us know, because it's not easy coming up with some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's hard work here.
It is. I'm busting my ass, just like you are. We'll talk to you next week, kids.